Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure and a privilege to welcome you on behalf of Professor Flogaitis, who is the director of the EPLO and the president of the board of directors of the EPLO, to welcome you at the premises of the EPLO here in Plaka, the historic center of Athens. You have the Roman Agora, you have the Greek Agora, you will have the opportunity to visit the historic places surrounding this also historic building where we are hosted. And we are really very, very happy to host this third International One Health Conference. I would like to thank Domenico Vito, the co-chair of One Health, and of course, Professor Ferrante. Both of them are the driving forces of One Health. We are very happy and privileged to host One Health in Athens, and we hope that this will be a very successful conference in these difficult times that our planet and our region is facing. A few words about the European Public Law Organization. We are a full-fledged international organization. The seat of the organization is in Greece. We have 14 member states. Italy is a prominent member state, a founding member state, together with Cyprus and Greece, of course. And we have a network of 78 universities. The organization is growing. Currently, we are 14, but we are growing. There are requests from other countries to join the organization. And of course, it is a global organization, notwithstanding the title European Public Law Organization, as we want to promote the European model worldwide, thinking that the European model is a best practice that deserves to be promoted. And indeed, there is a strong interest, even currently in Brazil, to join us, and in other countries of the world, in different continents, to join the EPLO as an organization developing best practice on the rule of law, on human rights, on new governance patterns, on anti-corruption and other, let's say, protection for the citizen schemes that are new patterns. And of course, in a very broad spectrum of activities, I have the pleasure to lead the Institute on Climate and Circular Economy. It is one of the two institutes, together with the Institute of Health of Matteo Gnes. He will join us, I think, tomorrow online. So we are two of the several institutes that we have in the EPLO, covering a very broad range of activities, from climate to energy, to circular economy, to human rights, to education. And of course, EPLO is also a full-fledged university with graduate and postgraduate studies. You can visit them on the website. And we will be very happy to continue in the future the cooperation with One Health, as we do have a lot of things that we promote in common. I don't know if Matrigeni wants to join right now, or do I have 3 more minutes?
No, Matrigeni sent a video to us because unfortunately he cannot join. So yes, you can continue, then we can go to the speakers.
Okay, so we do believe that this international conference is extremely important. First of all, it has its focus to the Mediterranean, the cradle of the civilization, if we may say so, which is true. and we are in the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean is a sea which is currently threatened because of the climate crisis. We have an increase of the temperature. Professor Kunduri will say more on that later on. We have an increase of the temperature. We have the rise of the sea level. Already the archaeological site of the island of Delos, which is a UNESCO World Heritage, has been is threatened because of the rise of the sea level, and we have already seawater in the archaeological site. We have erosion, we have extreme weather phenomena, we have suffered from floods, but this is not only Greece. We saw what has happened in other parts of the world because of the wildfires, etc. So climate is extremely important and I would say crucial for human health and for the quality of life of all of us. And of course, the loss of biodiversity, which is also linked to the climate crisis, is connected with that. So there is an interconnection of several factors and several crises, from the climate crisis to the energy crisis, to the loss of biodiversity, to the degradation of the environment, and of course, the melting of the icebergs and of the Arctic, according to scientific evidence and research, might give rise to new pandemics because new viruses which were covered under the, let's say, the ice will probably come again, will appear again, and this in connection with the loss of biodiversity and the disturbance of the equilibrium of the planet, which we're currently facing, can lead to unprecedented effects, which we will have to face, and we need to be ready for that. So health crisis, climate crisis, environmental crisis, food crisis, which is also connected to the other crisis. And as long as the wars continue, and this is a very strong concern we all have, the climate degradation will become even worse, in the sense that wars lead to emissions not only of CO2 and let's say ozone depleting and substances, but to other dangerous substances because of the chemicals, because of the bombing, the missiles, etc., which threaten human health. And in that sense, we need to protect human health. We need to protect maternity. In Europe, we have a demographic problem. Here in Greece, the demographic problem is very, very strong. We fear that in 10, 15 years, we will lose a substantial part of our population, because the population is growing, but the average is 1.1, 1.2. This is also the case in other European states. So there is a demographic problem, which is not a common problem in the basin of the Mediterranean, because if you take Egypt, which is somehow opposite to us, their population grows by 1 million every year. So Egypt is almost reaching 100 million people, and Turkey is also growing demographically in a planet where we have an overpopulation problem, which makes the problems that we will be discussing today even worse, as the carrying capacity of the planet has been exceeded. I wanted to share this let's say, preliminary thoughts with you all. I do believe that all these elements and factors are interconnected. We need to promote a holistic approach, a multidisciplinary and holistic approach, where we all need to be aware of the challenges that we are facing, and as a civil society, become the voices of climate, especially the young people and the students who will join us, and hopefully COP29 in Baku. Most of us will be there. Professor Koudouri will be there. I'll be there as well. We need to convey strong messages, not only to reduce the emissions and to keep the temperature, which I think I feel we have lost the temperature targets, but at least to improve and increase resilience, because resilience can be one also of the results and the outcomes of our conference, how we can make our societies, our households, ourselves, our companies, our states, our communities resilient. Thank you very much for your attention. I wish a very successful conference, and we will be here to interact also during the 3 days of this important conference.